slides really smoothly, really gently. And of course it was designed for aerobatics. So this is quite a contrast to the earlier 3D aerobatics that we saw. This is sort of old school, gentle aerobatics. It just controls that one specific surface. But with this, whichever control you put in, it actually has an effect on one of the others as well. So you're flying the whole aeroplane all of the time. It doesn't have as much power as the others as well. In fact, it probably has that same power class, doesn't it, that the 3D ones have in it, but it's a much larger aircraft, so it's got more to carry around.
Four-stroke, twin-cylinder, petrol engine, 85cc. That's 1.5 mopeds, folks. Built from Mick Reeves' drawings. Flown by Jamie Cuff. Going past now is the silver Tiger Moth. That's just trying to see who's flying that. Hidden by another spot. Yes.
Yeah, I'll wait.
You are with the boat.
Jenny is again. Yeah, Gary Milton, it says, yes, that makes sense. That's the yellow one. Now, Curtiss Jenny was one of the aircraft that was used an awful lot in the early days of the American barnstormers. They travel around the country, land in a field somewhere, put up a sign saying, flight for $1, and take you up and make you airsick by throwing you around. Lovely aeroplane. And almost twice as big, generally. The aircraft that was following it round, the monoplane, the red and white monoplane, is the Bulldog trainer. Now, a few of those were operating out of Filton, just up the road, for the University Air Squadron. They replaced the Chipmunks that were flying up there. And talking of Chipmunks, lo and behold, it's like a plan that's come together. One is flying just behind the Boeing Stearman. That was a de Havilland, Canada aeroplane. So what you have is the follow-on from the Tiger Moth, which is the DH Chipmunk. I was fortunate enough to fly. So the de Havilland Company of Canada started making aircraft. They made the Otter and the Beaver as well. Some very nice designs. So it was a two-continent design team. Some of the Osters were used in the early Antarctic exploration. There's a very famous one. Any of you ever made Airfix models? There was a little yellow Oster that could be fitted with skis, floats or wheels. And that was the aircraft that they used as liaison and transport in the Antarctic expedition. While the trainers are going, it's also worth reminding you about our trailer stands again. Over there we have Balsa Cabin, we have Inwards, we have Al's Hobbies, we have Henson's Flying Machines, we have Morris Mini Motors. What else have we got? We got a couple of the club stands. We've got the Battle of Britain Memorial Fund. This is to raise money for ex-servicemen. Just trying to look around. Oh, of course, we've got the club stand where people are selling their retired aircraft or aircraft that they feel they need a change from. Pre-loved, I believe, is the term nowadays. That's right, pre-loved. In comes the Ulster. So they painted it in very bright yellow and black stripes. This is flown by Andy Johnson from up Liverpool way, or Wirral, not proper Liverpool, so Andy Johnston says. So we have definitely an imposter. Foster some fighting about that. In an air show for the full-size aircraft, you come along the flight line in a bank with a bit of opposite rudder to keep the aircraft along the straight and narrow, but so that you can see the aeroplane from the top.
So we were talking about the power of these jets earlier on when we watched the big sports jets flying. Now, interestingly, with this scale jet that Andy's flying, it's actually only flying on a 160 size turbine that's been turned down to a 140. So the big scale jets,
and then use that altitude to be able to carry out your manoeuvres.
So usually, as a rule of thumb with scale jets, we normally have a half power to weight ratio. So if your aircraft's 30 kilos, you'd put a 160 size turbine in roughly. As with the sports jets, it's more about as much power as possible.
The president of the Woodspring Club, the guy who was the, if you like, the instigation of the club, and by consequence the instigator of the show, he was also a member of the Caterpillar Club. He's one of those pilots that had to jump out of a not perfectly good condition aeroplane to save his butt by coming down on a parachute. So thanks to Martin Baker ejector seats and siltwork, he survived. Just to remind you all that you really do need to stick around this afternoon, because we're going to get a flyby from the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight Hurricane 2C. That's the aircraft that saw the bulk of combat in the Battle of Britain. About ratio of about 3 Hurricanes to 2 Spitfires, give or take. Same engine, but that will be coming around this afternoon. We asked for a bit of information on the aircraft, and what we got was the tyre pressures. Typical RAF humour. No name of the pilot. That is so realistic. Beautiful curving approach, classic fighter approach. And when he lands, we expect more than a ripple of applause, because that was absolutely brilliant.
Now with the turbine helicopter, Brett can get about 8 minutes worth of flying time. It's a slightly bigger aircraft than the one that he's previously flown. It's a 2.6 metre rotor span. And then you heard that then, as the helicopter turns into wings, we get a lovely slap of the rotor blades. This is an equivalent of a 60cc model. So it's flown on an X-Power 60cc brushless motor, powered by a 160 amp speed controller. Now this aircraft was designed by Seba, who's a world champion F-3A pilot. So as we've seen with quite a few models this weekend, it's a semi-scale aircraft. It's made to look like the full size, but will have all the capabilities of scale aerobatic flying.
That's quite an achievement, actually, talking intelligibly and flying well as well. So Dominic, who's flying the Camels, just told me that this is his lockdown baby. He built this during lockdown. It took him about a year to build, and it is the largest model that he's flown, that he's built so far. I think he's done quite a good job on it. We've got a low pass now from the Pilates. It's probably going to be going. And the Camel passing in the background. The lovely thing about flying electric is that it's quiet. Some people say that they don't like it because they miss the proper noise of the engine, but if you want like a lovely, nice, calm evening, or you've got a noise problem in your site, then these are just perfect because you can still fly large models, but without any of the noise. And they don't drip all over your car either. So the Camel's going on its finals, coming into land. Low inverted pass from the Pilates. That was a very low approach. The B2 just taking off. Just taking off. So there's a Concorde in the air. If you fancy having your own Concorde, you can build it yourself. Go along to the aerospace stand, which is by the bus, by the gate. Go along there. You can actually buy your own Concorde to build. Have a chat with them. They do some amazing work. If you love the history of aircraft, definitely go and talk to them. And I think you have the opportunity as well of actually going upstairs in the bus and being able to see all the flying from upstairs in the bus. It's a gorgeous bus. Really, really well preserved. So definitely worth going and have a look at. They do a lot of educational work. You can go along to the museum there.
We're about to see the Breitling wing walkers. Now these models are absolutely stunning. If you get a chance to get close to these at any point over the weekend, they will be out on display on the flight line. The level of detail on these aircraft are just beautiful. Now both models are fully complete with workable wing walkers. Sorry, I was just slightly distracted by James's landing there. Yeah, as I was saying, these Breitling aircraft have a fully functioning wing walker on the top wing.
Okay, just a quick announcement, ladies and gentlemen. After you've given a recognised...
Waving as they take off. I love them. They bring a smile to my face. I love seeing this. So we're going into a spectacles manoeuvre. And both of these were built by Richard. They're designed on a Balsa USA kit, 3rd scale. And they are based on the ones that belong to Renken, which was the now Aero Superbatics. These are in the Breitling scheme. I think they're going to be repainted to actually follow the new scheme that they're just designing. Loop on the neck coming through. So I'm commentating and actually giving the pilots directions at the same time, and still waving. Smoke going on. Going up into a loop, and then we'll go back into spectacles, going into a figure of 8. So now what we're going to do is, as they go into the next manoeuvre, is a spectacles, then figure of 8. Okay. So what we're going to do with the next one is we are going to swap the girls around. So we're going to put their arms down, pull their legs up, and because... And then just checking that they're in the right place, and then I'm going to turn them 180 degrees. I'm sorry, no, I'm not comfortable with my now. 180 degrees. So now the rig will be upside down. Coming through into a split after the figure 8. So they're concentrating hard, trying to fly the two models together. So now the girls are on their side. This is what the girls actually do when they fly on the wing walker as well. So the paint on this is absolutely scale because we were given some of the paint from the full-size wing walkers to paint these models. So it's actually the proper colour. Right, so now what I'm going to do is move their legs again and bring them back to so now coming back round into formation. So you so now the girls are upside down. So now their legs will be waving. Yeah, double bump next. These are about 10, coming up to the 10th, 11th year. These models. Apparently that manoeuvre isn't very comfortable when you do it for real, when you're on the top of the plane. So we're coming into a mirror is next. So a mirror manoeuvre is when the bottom aircraft flies along straight and level and the top aircraft will do the same thing but inverted. Yeah, so I just need to just switch them back up again. Be the mirror manoeuvre. Then Richard Duke sees Superman. Superman? So the Superman manoeuvre. So Richard's going to go away to do a loop. Superman manoeuvre is going to land. Girls waving again.
Say to take us by surprise, did it be Derek? Okay. Right, first couple of things. This is being flown by Giles Croft, Flight Lieutenant. He was going to be approaching from the other direction, so things have all changed according to the plan. Basically, built in 1944, Hurricane 2C. I'm not going to talk when it's flying over. Mustn't talk while that's coming overhead. Okay, flown by basically Polish Squadron, 26 Squadron, 63 Squadron. dead. It's we're very lucky to see this aircraft. It had a major smash up a long time back. Reconditioned beautifully, has all the Brit Memorial flights on. No, he's not going to come back again. He's going to go away. We've got two from the AZ team. Tom's going out at the moment. He'll be flying with Adam. And Lewis will be flying with Laura later on, in a few minutes. So the orange, blue and white plane having a fit in the middle at the moment is an extra. The one climbing high is a Slick 103.
So you can't even do that.
These are purposely designed to be lightweight but very, very strong to be able to carry out these high G maneuvers.
This is it.
You really need to develop good muscle memory to do these maneuvers. I was just asking Lewis, do you spend much time on the computer practicing it? Because the only way you can do some of these maneuvers at that speed is either be down near a genius or get to the stage where you develop muscle memory.
Really good, Brandon. I got loads of points. It's really nice.
Sharon, there's a request for some music. Do you have time? Oh.
You can see. Oh, right.
Well, he's really going to burn. He's not going to go.
No, we ain't got good.
Oh, we did that. West no, we did that.
You have a couple of slots to go, guys. You may need to recruit some more for safety. And any youngsters, children, who are up for going after their toffees when the toffee bomber comes, please start gradually making your way down. We've got a couple of slots yet, and we'll tell you what to do. Any parents with little ones who they want to take out, you're allowed as well. No unaccompanied adults at all. Only accompanied adults by little ones. Okay? Right, at the moment we've got the trainers of all ages. So, what have we got? We've got a tiger moth, originally 1930s sort of age. We've got a steerman, late 1930s. We've got an oster. And a piper cup. Or it might be a Luscombe. You can never quite tell the difference. These are the ones from the Blackdown mob, which is very good. Steve Holland, can you come over by the radio mic, by the microphone area, please? Unless you're going to fly right now. So if you were learning to fly, ladies and gentlemen, these are the sorts of things you would have learned to fly in different eras. There's more modern ones, unfortunately, were missing. We did have a bulldog and a chipmunk this morning, but I think they've gone unserviceable. Also like to make a statement about all the help we've been having today. 1446 Squadron Air Cadets, brilliant, from Clevedon. The Air Cadets are with us every year. They do lots on security. They do lots of help, and they are brilliant to show what some of the youth of today can be like. Absolutely superb. Also like to thank all of our traders who've made it in these difficult times. I won't say it's doubled, but...
We're new to the trade, and we've done a number of shows this year which we've enjoyed thoroughly, and our product has taken well to the market.
Good.
Excellent, thank you for having us.
No, great. Good to have you here. Right, now airborne. 1934 this aeroplane was designed, the full size. This is the de Havilland Comet. Designed by a gentleman called A.E. Hag for the de Havilland Aircraft Corporation, as was. What happened is that in Australia, a gentleman who was making lots and lots of money out of confectionery decided to celebrate the state of Victoria's 100th anniversary. They would organise a race from the UK to the state capital. And Geoffrey de Havilland decided that he would put an aeroplane in that would be capable of it if he could persuade 5 people to buy versions of the particular aeroplane. He knew it was going to cost around £50,000, but he said because it's £50,000, if 5 people would buy them, he would sell them to them for £5,000 a pop. So they were getting them kind of half price. So this is the one that actually won the race. There were 3 that kicked off getting ready for it. A green one, a black one, and a red one. This is Grosvenor House, in the famous hotel, who sponsored it. There was one called Black Magic, which was all black livery with the white stripe, and a green one, which they never named. And that one of them was bought by Jim Mollison and what's her name? Amy Johnson. They bought the black one, and then 2 more were bought afterwards. So the 5 were all finished and created. Lovely aeroplane, but absolutely revolutionary because it was cheap construction, as in nearly all wood. The only bits of metal were the bits to hang the engines and the wheels off. They learned an awful lot about... Oh, sorry, somebody's waving some bribery in front of me in the way of ice cream. Yeah. Yeah, so they built all 5. There's another couple being built nowadays as replicas, and there's a couple in museums around the country. Sorry, commentating with a microphone and eating an ice cream don't go together. Steve's model is half scale. Not only did this particular aeroplane win the race, which had a pretty healthy prize on the end of it, it also inspired de Havilland towards producing what became the best multi-role combat aircraft of World War II, the Mosquito. Sharon, wherever you are, there's an ice cream waiting to be consumed. Sharon, ice creams await you. Oh, she's coming. I knew if any call would work, that would be it. Thank you, gentlemen. With the usual sign of waving the wingtips. Steve's bringing the Comet back round to land. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, it's hard to eat an ice cream and commentate at the same time. And I've got to tell you, the ice cream is very... Some things have got to be done. Now, that's half scale. I think you'll agree, ladies and gentlemen, that's an absolutely wonderful sight. It's been around for quite a while now, but beautiful aeroplane. And I'm sure you'll reward Steve Flying with this round of applause. Oh, Kyle's flying, yeah. Kyle's flying it, but it's Graham's plane. It's quite an interesting thing, this. The Wellington was designed by a guy called Barnes Wallis. Anyone who's seen the old movie The Dam Busters will know that name, because he was the man that designed the bouncing bomb that they used in the raid on the dams. But what they also did is borrowed one of these full-size aircraft to try to do the tests on the bombs casings. So they dropped loads of prototype bombs from the Wellingtons. When somebody said, you know, I've got the idea for this, and that's Barnes Wallis, and said, but I need a Wellington bomber, and they said, why on earth would we lend you a Wellington bomber? And he said, well, because I designed it. That seemed to fix the argument. It was one of the mainstays of the Royal Air Force at the beginning part of the war, and the early raids over things like Berlin, etc., were carried out by Wellingtons. They were good as a night bomber, not heavily armed enough to defend themselves in the day. Okay for Coastal Command. The Spitfire Mark 9, of course, was what some people consider to be the finest, not the nicest to fly apparently. Some people who know say that Mark 5 was the best to fly, but the Mark 9 was introduced to counter the attacks of the Focke-Wulf 190, which came across raids across the Channel and actually gave the British Air Force a bad time for a while, until the Mark 9 came into production. You have to say, seeing things like that Spitfire reefing around just over the line of the hills, makes you realise A, what a great sight this is, and B, how realistic some of these models are, because that looked for all the world like a real thing. The two Wellingtons are designed by a guy called Tony Nighthouse, who designs loads and loads of scale aeroplanes, all of which seem to fly very well. Tends to make them very light structured, and they do behave brilliantly. And they look very convincing. Steve Vaudry's Wellington is landing. And Wayne's dropped the undercarriage on the Spitfire. And in it comes. Okay folks, do you enjoy that?